And for those of you who are familiar with Living Stories, this channel is all about people being able to share their own stories themselves. And it's taken from Joshua chapter 4, where the tribes of Israel are asked to choose a stone as they go over the River Jordan. So in keeping with Joshua chapter 4, I'm going to ask you, Bosede, and you, Olivia, to choose a stone, because each stone represents your story. So please do. You hold on to those stones, and I will talk to you about what we do with those a little later on in the program. We've got with us today Bosede Nelson and Olivia Douglas. They're going to be sharing their story with us. And it really is a story of resilience. It's a story of obedience. It is a story with some really difficult parts to it. And we're going to be hearing from them right now. So, Bosede, welcome. Just want to ask you, really, if I was to ask you to tell me about the beginnings of the beginnings for you, what would you tell me about your childhood? Where were you born?
Yeah.
And what would you tell me about?
Yeah, so I would say that I was born of a Jamaican and a Nigerian parents. They both met in the United Kingdom. My mother was part of the Windrush generation, and my father came to the United Kingdom to study pharmacy, while my mother was a nurse. So they met and they had three of us. I am the last of three children. I have two brothers ahead of me. And so we were born in the UK, and then shortly after, my father decided to go back to Nigeria. So the entire family went back to Nigeria.
Okay.
Right.
So how old were you when you went back to Nigeria?
I was about 2 years old when I went to Nigeria.
Wow.
Yeah. And then my father died when I was 4.
Wow.
Right. So my mom lived with her in-laws for quite a while. My brother lived with my grandmother, while I stayed with my mom in
Okay.
a separate location. Yeah.
Right. Do you have much memories? Because you were 2. Do you have any memories of going?
I don't have any memories of going, but I have memories of being there and growing up there because I lived in Nigeria for between 2 and 13 years old.
Wow, so you were there for quite a stretch then.
Exactly. I have memories of, being introduced to pepper food, right? So
Ooh.
that's when I got my baptism of fire,
Ooh.
where they gave me a whole lot of food with a whole lot of pepper. And my eyes were running, my nose were running, every
Everything
part
ran.
of me was running.
Everything ran right.
So that was my baptism of fire. I
That's
also
not the Holy Spirit neither, by the way.
indeed.
That came later.
Indeed. Indeed. And I remember the language because I remember I used to speak the language, not fluently, but I definitely did speak the language.
Wow. Okay.
And my grandmother was a chief.
Wow.
Right. So on special occasions, we used to dress up in the Nigerian attire, and she used to, bring out the gold chain and everything else just for special occasions.
Wow.
When the occasion was finished, she took back her gold chain and everything else.
Cool.
Yeah. So I remember those
Yeah,
things.
yeah. So whereabouts in Nigeria were you brought up?
So I was brought up in Lagos, Surulere. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So life in Nigeria, fun, rich, food, culture,
Rich with
richly.
culture, yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so it was, I recall most of the times my mom was away, cousins and my siblings, so we used to be up to a whole lot of stuff. Jumping over gullies, doing all kind of stuff, all hopping onto buses and everything else. I was a real tomboy.
Okay.
Right. But most of the time my mother was working because she was a nurse.
Yeah.
So she worked night duties and stuff. But I had aunties and everybody who was around.
Takes a village to
It takes a
raise a child,
village,
eh?
exactly.
That whole
Exactly.
whole thing there, isn't it? One of the things I like as well and love about Black culture, is the proverbs. Because as you're speaking to me now, I'm just remembering that it says it. That one of the proverbs says it takes a whole village to raise a child, and clearly what you're doing right now is depicting that whole proverb there is coming to life.
Exactly.
For you.
Exactly.
Okay. So tell me about school.
So I went to school in Nigeria. I started off primary school, and primary school, from primary school you went into high school. I never used to take primary school seriously. I just
What do
went
you
to
mean?
school. I just enjoyed myself until one day it was the final year, I believe, of primary school, and then we needed to do an exam to get into high school. And the teacher looked at me and says, "I know you have potential, but if you don't get up to speed, you are not going to get into high school." Because I used to come last in the class. You know, I get my grades and I was last in the class. And the lady told me that, and I started working hard.
So,
And that year,
just a minute, you used to come last in the class.
last in the class.
And what that you weren't too worried about that.
No.
You weren't bothered about the fact that
I was not bothered
I
at
could
all.
never go home and tell my mum that I came last in the class.
Last in the class. And she pulled me up and she said, you know, if you don't straighten yourself, you're not going to get into high school.
Wow.
And that year I came first in the class. And she looked at me and I said, I knew you had potential in
You
it.
see what I mean?
So when I went into high school, I was battling for fifth place in that class.
Wow.
Every class I went into, once I realized my potential,
Uh-huh.
I was battling with other girls for fifth place. I used to come in the third, fourth, fifth. There were
Wow.
two girls that were the first and second
They just
position.
never get there.
I couldn't beat them.
I think every class has that one. Every class has that one. Yeah.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed,
Yeah.
indeed.
Wow. So school then became quite competitive environment for you
Exactly.
because you recognize your
My
potential.
potential. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I know that you didn't stay in Nigeria, did you?
No.
So can you just tell me a little bit about that? Because I know that's in this book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this first book is Risk an Unknown Future to a
The
Known
known
God,
God. Yeah.
which is what features in this book. And I read this book quite
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
You put it down, be quite honest. There's so many things that were compelling in it. So I know that you left Nigeria.
Yeah.
Can you tell me the circumstances and what happened there?
Yeah.
Because your mum, Miss Rowena, I feel like I know her, you know.
Mm.
Miss Rowena.
Indeed.
Tell me about that.
Well, my mom, as a West Indian, now that I'm looking back and reflecting, I realized she wasn't really comfortable with the Nigerian culture.
Wow.
And she wasn't comfortable with the in-laws. So, unbeknownst to us, when my father died when I was 4, I was there until age 13. She was already planning to leave Nigeria, but she didn't want to inform my in-laws.
So did you know about that?
We didn't know about this.
Wow.
So she planned and she said we were coming to Jamaica to spend holiday, a 2 weeks holiday, right? At the time, she had only bought 1 week ticket. We did not know that. So she gathered my brothers who were living with my grandmother at the time, and she told them we were coming to Jamaica to spend some time, 2 weeks, and we were back.
Wow.
And we landed in Jamaica, and we went straight to her mother's place, and that was when she told us
That you weren't going back.
that we weren't going
Wow. But that's a big shift, isn't it, for you?
back. Exactly.
Because you had no knowledge, no way of planning,
No way of planning.
no way to close, to say goodbye to friends or anything like that.
Yeah.
So how did you feel? What did you think?
I mean, we cried and we argued but there was nothing we could do. Again, single parents, yeah. And there was nothing we could do. It's not as if we could buy ourselves a ticket and go back.
No.
So we just had to adjust to the situation. And then she found schools in Jamaica for us. And my brothers went to Kingston College at the time.
Yeah.
I went to St. Hugh's High School. And then we just had to adjust.
How long did it take you a while to adjust?
It took us a while to adjust. It took us a while because the living conditions weren't ideal either.
Okay.
Because she had gone to her mother's house, which was a 1 bedroom place, really.
Wow.
So all 4 of us were in this 1 bedroom place until she found her feet and she got a place for us. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So life in Jamaica then after a while in terms of, assimilating and getting used to it.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Eventually, we got used to life in Jamaica. I made friends at school. Yeah, my brothers made friends as well, and then we got involved in a number of activities. So my brothers got involved with chess. That was their way out.
Chess.
Yes.
Wow.
So they
Okay.
became really good at chess. They
Mhm.
went to international tournaments. Yeah. Chess. I think one of them won the chess tournament one year. Yeah. So they got involved in chess.
Uh-huh.
I don't even know. I don't remember what I got involved in. I was just studying most of the time. Yeah,
Right.
because that competitive spirit was developed when I was in Nigeria,
Nigeria.
and I continued with it throughout. So I had some friends at St. Hugh's at the time. I used to go out with them, but not too much. I was a homebody,
Right.
and most of the time I was studying and everything else. Yeah.
So that situation where that teacher told you that I
Mhm.
know that you have it in you,
Yeah.
lit a fire
Yes.
in you,
Yeah.
which I think we could say continues to this day,
Continues to this
because
day.
that's why we're here.
Yes, that's
And
right.
we're going to hear a little bit more
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
So life in Jamaica, then you've settled, you've made friends, you are studying,
Yeah.
you know, you've got a fire now,
Yeah.
you're on it
Yeah.
in terms of studying and doing well and
Yeah.
so on.
Yeah.
So you leave school,
Yeah.
you go to university, do you?
Yeah. Initially, my brothers went ahead of me. I went to university and I decided, you know what, I was going to go. I was going to find myself a job and get some money.
Right.
And then I was working, and then I realized, but my brothers are getting educated, getting their degrees and stuff. What am I doing with myself? So I left the job and I applied for the University of the West Indies to do economics. And I left the job and went to the university full time and
Okay.
did my economics degree. Yeah.
Okay. So you're now at university, you
Mhm.
completed university, you get the
Mhm.
degree,
Yeah.
then
I went on to do the masters. So I went straight ahead
so
and did
no
the
stopping her
master.
now.
Yeah. And
You're,
then that's
no stopping her. I hope you've got you're doing your masters at some point, are you? Woo! Lord, we're going to hear about that one then. Okay.
yeah. So it was during my masters that I
Uh-huh.
met this fellow.
Okay.
Then I got pregnant during the masters with
Uh-huh.
Olivia and stuff. I remember when I was studying and had Olivia on my lap and everything else. And then I completed the masters. Then I went to work at the Central Bank of Jamaica.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're unstoppable. You know, no, you know, I was thinking about it, you know, because we went to a book launch. I actually had the opportunity of going to Olivia Bosede's book launch for this second book, which we're going to be talking about in a little while. And one of the things that came to me as I listened to you and listened to the story as it unfolded, because some bits of it I knew through the book and through, you know, my interaction with you.
Yeah.
But then clearly there's a whole lot that I don't know.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really occurred to me as you were sharing and as others shared their part of the journey with you is just how absolutely focused and determined you were and you still are.
Yeah.
And I left that book launch on Saturday with a sense of energy.
Yeah.
I had an energy in me. I was thinking, gosh, look at Bosede. You know, Bosede is able to just keep going. You've kind of got a laser sharp focus that when you hone in on something, you just don't take your eye off it. And that's really one of the things that I took away from, apart from the food. We had ackee, saltfish, dumpling, English breakfast. We had the lot on Saturday. It was a very nice book launch. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
But apart from that, I did actually take away the journey that you've been on and how you know, integral to you that whole business of energy and focus and moving forward was for you.
Yeah. So family life was going on. I was working at the central bank at the time. I was doing a number of things. At this time, I had my degree and I had my master. and I was being promoted. So I was being recognized for my job and the job that I did at. But my husband at the time had lost his job, so he was made redundant.
He wasn't working.
And he was a problem in the marriage where he says, no, my work is taking up all of my time, and I don't have any time for him nor the family.
Wow.
Right. So that is when the issues started to really develop in the marriage.
So, Olivia, can I ask you something? Did you become aware of the change of atmosphere at home? Or you don't need to hide it, to stop the children from picking up on that?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, you know.
I can't remember where the sentence started off or I remember that when it finally came to a head, I said to myself a bit more.
Oh, okay.
But at the end of it, I remember I'm glad they're not together anymore because if they weren't together, there are a lot of arguments. I think I was not.
Okay. So you would have noticed that there was tension in the house. Yeah, and then towards the end, just relieved that would stop at least. Yeah. Okay. So that's quite a big juncture, isn't it, really? A big turning point for you in family life. It's changed. Presumably, Dad has moved on, as he moved out of the house, and you're left to run the children, to run the home.
Somebody, I did let's got involved with somebody. It was first time we both of us had to drive in the same car, and that is when I picked up on several telephone calls. Another party in this marriage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then afterwards, we went to the same pastor who married us in the first place. And when he was, talking to us about the marriage and probably reconciliation, he realized, well, you two have already grown so far apart that I don't know how you guys are going to come back. And it was after that that we decided that this is not going to work out.
Okay. So
that led to divorce. Yeah.
Marriage over, divorce.
Yeah.
And tell me about, because at some point then the decision's made, isn't it, that you're going to have to leave Jamaica.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, quite how long it was after that, but clearly that juncture comes. Can you just tell me a little bit about what made you decide? By then had you started going to church, or after the marriage broke down, or when did church figure?
So it was after the marriage broke down that we started going to church. I mean, during the marriage, I realized there was this void. I was seeking and I was searching, and I kept telling myself, surely there must be more to life than this. There was this void, and now I recognize it was God. It was that void that every one of us has, right?
I keep saying, that there's a God slot.
There's a God slot in all of us.
There's a God slot in all of us, and it's just like one of those vending machines. If it's meant for £2 coins, a pound coin won't fit it. A 1 penny coin won't fit it. It's just the nominated coin. And that God slot, is within all of us. And if that's void, you do keep searching. Yeah,
indeed. So it was during that time, I think I mentioned this at the book launch as well, when the work situation wasn't even going right as well. There were issues on the work front. There were issues on the home front. Yeah, I was stressed to the point where I got up one morning, I was blind in my right eye. Had a hemorrhage, and the blood from that hemorrhage flowed into the eye, and I became blind in the right eye.
Wow.
And it was when the doctor says, at 28, what on earth is happening to you? What on earth is happening in your life that you develop a hemorrhage? And they decided that if it doesn't clear within 2 weeks, they're going to operate and clean off the blood. And thank God, because I was at this point in time now, I started praying to the Lord. And the eye cleared before they did the operation, because I never wanted to do the operation. If you can rescue me from this need, my children, I will give you all the days of my life. And he did, and that is when we started going to church.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
So can you remember then, Olivia, your first memories of church? How did that impact you?
Um, I don't remember going to the church that we finally settled in. It was a very, we didn't feel very welcome, not because of the people, but because it was a new. When you're a new person and you can feel very
Out
outside.
of it,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we never felt like we belonged.
Hmm.
But I think probably my mom probably said, let's try and oh, let's try and more purposefully. But
Hmm.
I think in doing that we started going like we joined the dance school at the
Wow.
time, started going to
Hmm.
things like that and see that we kind of built a home there, we kind of created a family of
Hmm.
that, that that we all ended up with.
Did you all get baptized together?
No,
I wouldn't say, ooh.
one of the
One, okay, okay. Hmm. Okay, okay. So church life now is good, involved, family. That's what it's like, isn't it, really? Your church life, your church family is like your family, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
There are those that you love, there are those that you don't take too much tea with, although you should do. You know what I mean? So church life is going. Okay. So decision to leave all of that family that you were just talking about, the good church life, and so on, all that at some point you're actually understanding somehow that you are going to leave Jamaica. So do you want to share that with me? Yeah, good. So we're enjoying church life. Front things had settled down and everything else. I was promoted again, and
Wow.
that was going well until I started having a series of dreams. So the first one was when I got baptized and everything. So I used to like to watch TV, the Christian TV, TBN, and all of these, and I used to sit down and just watch them all day, endlessly, until one afternoon I decided to take a nap, and I took a nap, and I had this dream. Like the angel came to me and he says, "Get up." Like, and he says, "Look at the foot of your bed." And I looked at the foot of my bed. God said it. So when I woke up, I said, "Hold on, I had a dream." And I said, "The angel told me to get up." So I got up and I looked at the foot of my bed and I read and I saw the Bible. And since then, I just, but
In that
I
Bible
don't
there.
remember anything about the Bible being there. And I got up and I started reading that Bible like nobody's
So
business.
just hold on a minute.
Yes.
As my dad would say, stick a pin.
Think of it.
Stick a pin. You dreamt that there was a Bible at the foot of your bed.
Yes.
You looked at the Bible and somebody says, read it. And then you wake out of the. I'm just trying to make sense here. And I thought I need to check with Bosede about this one, but I didn't want to ask there. Then you look at the foot of your bed and there is a Bible.
There's Bible there. Yes.
And you don't recall putting it there.
I don't recall putting it.
Hey.
And then I started reading that Bible. And I read. And I read.
Where did you start? Which book did you
I
start?
started with Genesis. I
All
just
right, from
started
Genesis to Revelation.
from Genesis to Revelation.
Okay.
And I just started reading. And I just read and read and read and read and read.
Voraciously.
Yeah. And on Saturdays, what I do is I just read and read and read and then fall asleep. And I get dreams and I get up and I read and read and read, fall asleep again, get dreams, get up, read and read.
And did you write those dreams? Did you write the dreams down?
I
or
wrote,
did you just happen to remember them?
I wrote them down.
Wow.
I wrote them down. That's why I can recall them to this day, because I wrote them down.
Write the vision.
Yeah. I
Make
wrote
it
them
plain.
down. Yeah.
So you wrote down the visions.
Yeah. And then the Lord began to make it plain to you.
Yeah.
So was it through one of these visions then that you got the sense that you were going to have to leave?
Yeah. So he gave me a dream about suitcases.
Suitcases?
Yeah. Suitcases. So I was driving this truck. In the dream, I was driving a truck and I had suitcases in the truck. And there was this lady from church who says, "Oh, I have some plantains to give you." And I'm saying, "I don't have any space in the suitcase for the plantain." But I said, "You know what? I'll ask Olivia to get more suitcases and I can put the plantains in there." And then while I was sitting down looking, there was this friend of mine who lived in Canada who was passing, and she looked into the truck, looked at the suitcases, and then she walked out. And I woke up and I said, "Lord, what does that mean? Where am I going?" Yeah. And then in a second dream, I had something quite similar with suitcases again, and then empty house. And I'm wondering, where am I going? And there was a friend from work who came and he said in the dream, "Oh, you're just going away for 2 years and be back." And I said to myself in the dream, "Oh, you think it's 2 years, but I think it's going to be longer."
Wow.
And I woke up out of that dream and I said to myself, "Lord, where am I going?"
So these really, from what you're saying to me,
Yeah.
these are quite prophetic. Right?
Yes.
These are yet to come.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you wrote the dreams down
Yeah.
and you began to have, was it like an impression in your heart and
Yeah.
in your mind?
Yeah. Yeah. And then what I did was also because I used the Bible to interpret the dreams as well. Because I remember when Joseph was interpreting the dreams for
Okay.
and he says when the dream is double, it means it's set in stone.
Okay.
It will come to pass.
When the dream is doubled.
When the dream is doubled, and I realized this dream was doubled. And
You dreamt about it twice.
I dreamt about the same thing twice, suitcases and
You see, we don't read our Bible.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember reading about when the dream is doubled.
Yeah. When the dream is doubled.
So when you had the dream twice.
When it's set in stone. So even after I had a dream twice, I realized and I asked the Lord again for confirmation. I said, "Lord, confirm what it is that you're saying." And I got a third dream. This time around, the house was empty. The church people came to the house this time around, and they were escorting me to the airport.
So to move the story on, you leave Jamaica.
Yes.
Just as the dream had said.
Yes.
And you land in England.
Yes.
Tell me about England, your arrival, first impressions, and so on.
Yeah. So we arrived in England. We had already made arrangements to stay in this property for the time being. We had asked them for pictures, but they didn't provide the pictures in time. So we moved from the airport to the premises. When I walked into the premises was in a deplorable condition.
Wow.
There were mildew all over the place and everything else. And I recognized that we could not stay here. So I went straight back into the taxi and we found a hotel and we stayed in the hotel. Okay. And then we moved from that hotel to another hotel.
Right. So as a child, all of this is happening to you, isn't it? You have no say. And just tell me about your impressions, Did you go into the house or?
Oh,
okay.
Because I wasn't necessarily a child when we left our door.
Okay, so young adult.
It was a bit fussy. Again, I think for me, I was just going with the flow.
Yeah.
Because I knew that my mother was in Jamaica.
You're still dependent on
And I
it.
still
Right.
so wherever she went,
You were going.
so when she came back, she said that they were trying to what's gonna happen with the hotel. But it was just a lot of things that had happened before this adding.
I remember saying on Saturday, it got much worse, didn't it? Really? Yeah. In terms of before things turn a corner. Tell me about that because really what I picked up is, and what I'm picking up now is the beginning of a struggle. Thoughts and your feelings at this juncture. You're now here. You've not to live. Thought you were going to now. Stayed in that hotel for how long?
We stayed in the Ibis for I think about a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You moved to another hotel.
And we moved to another cheaper hotel, yeah.
And then of course, finance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then from there, did you get somewhere to live after that? Yeah.
Right. So we were at a hotel, right? And at this point in time, I was combing through the papers to find a place. And I was calling agents and stuff, telling them that we needed a place. And I wasn't making much headway. Yeah. So 2 days prior to our stay at the hotel coming to an end, I went to renew. And at this point in time, they told me there was no room. Wow. Because everything was already pre-booked for a football event. So we tried several hotels around the place and could not find any space. So on that day, I was armed with 3 properties. We checked out at 11. They stayed in the Bosede Olivia and her sister stayed in 11 with all the suitcases. And I went out to search for the 3 places I was armed with.
And what role did prayer play in this? Because clearly now it's quite desperate. You're in a place you don't know. Yeah. You know you've been led to England. Yeah. You've come to this and you found yourself in this. What role did prayer play?
A significant role. I was banging on heaven's door. I was saying to the Lord, Lord, we did not bring ourselves here. We did not plan any of this. I obeyed you. I followed you, right? You showed me those dreams and I believed you. And you cannot let me down at this point in time. My children and I cannot sleep on the streets.
And Olivia, right, yeah. Olivia, what about you? Were you praying with Mom or how did that go?
I was in the lobby at that time at the hotel. I don't even know if I was praying or I was in this at the time. What is gonna happen?
Yeah.
Because we get our property in
On the streets,
foreign land
with nowhere to live. Yeah.
But I would say I was praying because I'm always talking to God. I would say I was praying that Lord, what is happening?
So that is happening. How do things turn? Because I know that things turn a corner, don't they? They turn significantly. Yeah. How do things turn a corner?
So when I was armed with the 3 properties and I went to 2, they were real estate agents. They said, it's going to take some time to vet me and everything else. I told them I needed that place tonight. Yeah. Not that night. Not any vetting for 2 weeks. The final place I went to, it was the landlord itself that I dealt with. Wow. And I negotiated with the landlord and I said, okay, can I pay 6 months up front? I know you don't know me, I don't have any references, but can I pay 6 months up front? We had sent some money to my sister-in-law. So when he agreed to pay 6 months up front, she just sent the money to his account. And we moved in that night at 11 p.m. And that is when things sort of started to get settled. And unbeknownst to us, across the road, just a few steps down, was a church, Brooks Bar. And we walked and said, let's try this church. And we opened the doors and we saw Black people, Caribbean people, the pastor Jamaican. And we said, we're finally home. Yeah.
You reach, as you say, you reach.
So that is how things began slowly to come.
So just page 39 on this book, The Risk an Unknown Future to a Known God. I'm just going to read the first sentence because this actually says, there's an old saying in Jamaica that when you aren't good, you know it's like you run. I love it, I love the Proverbs. I love the Proverbs. When you aren't good, you know that you run. And here you are. That nose is running.
Exactly.
That nose is running good.
Exactly.
And free.
Exactly.
For you.
Exactly.
But it ran and good came.
Yes.
didn't it? You joined our church for a while. Yeah. I can't even remember how we met each other, but you joined our church for a while, became a part of our church. And Olivia, I can remember you, as being really quiet. And I wonder if that quietness was still that you were getting over the shock of the things that had taken place, because I know that in the sort of searching for a house was an awful lot of letdown, wasn't there? There was all sorts of things happening. And then you actually manage, you stay with us, don't you, for a while in our church. And then the Lord leads you to where you're living now. And the Lord saying to you, I remember you saying on Saturday, the Lord said to you, what do you want? Yeah. And you I got up and drew the layout of the house. Right, the vision. Said, this is how the Lord says, what do you want? Be specific. And I got up and I drew the layout of the house and I presented it to the Lord. I said, that's exactly what I want. And 2 weeks later, we found a house which wasn't already built, hassle-free, no problems in terms of joining any line of first come, first serve. And it says, oh, this is the layout of the, and I said, we'll pay it on. Wow. So now we're living in the exact layout that I drew that morning and showed to the Lord. I said, this is what we want. So Olivia, listening to this, when you look back at your story, when you look back at your journey, what are the things that come to you when you think about your mum's persistence? Because, clearly there's a resilience there, isn't there? There is a persistence, there's a focus, there's a refusal to give up, there's a refusal to just throw your hands up in horror and say, Lord, what now? What are the messages that you take from that whole episode of your life? I think firstly I would say trusting is not easy, but it is a decision that you make, and you have to do it with your whole heart. You do. And obedience to God doesn't mean that the path that He's leading you down will be easy. No. Sometimes it will come. It might be easy for one or two people, but sometimes with a lot of us, it comes with struggles. It comes with hurt. Comes with pain. It comes with just a lot of probably negative feelings. But it doesn't take away from the fact that this is where He's leading you. And a lot of the times when we go through these things, because the things that we've gone through, I can say positively that it has made me a better person, a stronger person, somebody who trusts God more. It's still a journey that I am on, but it has definitely helped me with that journey. So we have to understand that it won't be easy. No. But it is for your good. Do you understand? Yeah. And a lot of the times we have to be open and honest with God. Be specific with God to ask for what we want. Be bold enough to ask for what we want. Sometimes we might not get it, but sometimes we might, or sometimes it might be delayed. Yeah. But be open and honest, and just have faith. Peaceful, or just have faith. Yeah. And being delayed is not denied, is it? No. Somebody said. Yeah. Being because it's delayed. There's the other bit of that verse that we were talking about. Even though the vision tarry, wait for it. Yeah. There's a business of waiting, isn't there? There's a business of sitting still and seeing how the matter will end, as Naomi said to Ruth. So we're coming to the end, but I just wanted you to read, because it led you to read to write another book, which is It's Your Life, Get Up and Can Take Control. And I can see that where we are now, really, that's exactly what you've done. Yeah. It's your life. Yeah. It's your life. You've gotten up and you've taken control. Can you tell me, because I know that on Saturday you talked about having a number of businesses. So from being homeless, churchless, everythingless coming to this country, you suddenly, it's things have turned, haven't they? You've written 2 books. You've got the workbook which I've just dropped on the floor. Sorry about that. It's just an exercise book where as you read, it's a companion, and you can write your notes on what's in this book and how it's impressing you in the workbook. And it's a fabulous idea, because you can work alongside the book as you read it. So I'm going to be using my notebook. But in terms of turning it around for you, the resilience, the doggedness, I think there's a load of words that come to me. There's resilience and there's doggedness, dogged determination, just to keep going, even though it's looking impossible. And those are the things that I take from your story, from the books, and so on. I wonder, as we come to the end, if you had to do this all over again, is there anything that you'd do differently? Or would you just do it in exactly the same way? Because
if I had to do it all over again, I think I would obey God.
Yeah.
The journey wasn't straight, as Olivia mentioned. The journey wasn't linear. There were a number of things that happened. But the number of things that happened has got us to the point where we are today.
Yeah.
It has made us stronger women for God, for His kingdom. But it has made us trust God more. It has led to spiritual growth within just not myself, but my children. Yeah. He has blessed us financially. I would say if I had to do it all over again, I would still obey God.
You would still do this. Yeah. So that's led you, isn't it, to a few things, hasn't it, really, in terms of development? Yeah. Publishing. Publishing company. Yeah. What's it called? Joy Press. Publishing house. There you go. Yeah. And a number of other businesses as well.
Yes.
And all because you simply refused to give up and just follow the Lord and His leading. I gave you 2 stones, didn't you? You both took a stone each. And on our podcast, we have a strapline that we like to use. And I'm just going to ask you to say it after me and then place your stones back, because it's going back to what the tribes of Israel did when they arrived in Promised Land. So we say, this is our story.
This is our story.
And if we don't tell it, no one else will. Thank you very much for joining us.